Today I partnered up with HelloFresh to turn our garage into a gym, and although it is bittersweet because it is our family-run gym that closed down, I'm happy to show you guys from start to finish, basically a year-long process because I actually started back in October clearing this garage out that has been our storage for so long. And also I apologize for my voice. I think I'm getting sick and I'm losing it. I say a year because this is one of the projects where I tried to quote-unquote work on it whenever I had the time, which was basically never. But when BDX actually had to close its doors and the reality hit Paul and I, we love our BDX community, and they were moving to a different city, and it just wasn't feasible for us to drive out there to continue going to another location. So we decided, hey, let's just buy the equipment that we use and create a mini BDX and keep that community going strong, because the vibe and the family there was just something Paul and I were completely in love with. So we have a storage pod because Paul has so much that he's saved throughout his skating career that we like to put it into here. And after these fires, it really motivated me to organize this and make the most of it. I do not even want to look in here because the last time we took this out, Paul needed to find shoes, which are all the way in the back of the container. So I'm pretty sure there's just a giant pile of stuff. So right now I'm gonna handle the trash portion, pull it over to the side yard, and then kind of situate my thoughts about how I'm gonna be handling the mess inside this guy tomorrow. But the goal today is just to clear this out of much trash as possible. This part was probably the quote-unquote hardest because you had to, or I had to, just sort through everything again. And after organizing this garage throughout the last 7 years to be some kind of controlled chaos, I was so not looking forward to actually moving everything out. And then with that storage pod being there, I wanted to cry because I knew it was going to be a huge mess. It just felt like the list was never ending for this makeover before I got to the actual room. But this is where you have to remind yourself where it's worth it and you can make an extra buck, because I started finding things that I could sell, and I turned to my Let Go app, which I am now obsessed with. Hi, just had the absolute worst time with this current lock on our, why is it not focusing? Focus. So the key broke in the lock when I was opening it up. I had to hammer it out. I even tried to bolt cut it because it was just jammed, but we got the pod open. So sad, the whole frustration's on my highlight reel, but let me show you the mess inside these pods. Oh, and I cleared these out of there. Apparently we didn't strap anything down. So I need to organize all of this. I'm not gonna do a time lapse, this is gonna be way too much. Oh my God, and the wind is not helping. We're gonna survive. Okay, so far we're separating piles and just pulling everything out, and it's a lot of stuff. But this is where we're at. So now I can add the shelving to the back and start to kind of pile onto that and make it actually accessible next time we pull it out of storage. To say that we packed this thing full, but it's fully organized, is an understatement. Mr. Paul Rodriguez helped with this phase of it, so cut it down to 3 hours versus probably this, okay. I know not everybody's going to have a storage pod. This is clearly what works for our lifestyle in our home. So don't come at me in the comments like, well, what's the point of getting rid of your garage when you can have that storage? It's like, well, I didn't touch anything in that garage for like 3 years. I just organized it. So that's why we got a pod. Oh my God, can you absolutely not right now? Oh my God, I got the right lock. Cue Paul saying, I basically did the whole thing.
I did.
Okay, so the gym officially closed on Wednesday. It was Thanksgiving and now today is Friday. So since I still have the loaner car and Paul is in town for a couple more days before he has to leave town, we picked up the key to the gym and we're gonna just load what we can, and I'm gonna start painting tonight because we basically have to have the gym ready in like days time. If you're getting past all of that just cleaning and organizing, it was totally time to just dive in and paint, which I hate painting, you guys know this, but I had Paul there to help me, and it was his first time as a 35-year-old man to paint a room, and I had to actually take over the second coat because the white was a little bit patchy. I'm really excited about taking these pegboards down and putting mirrors up in this garage, but I am even more excited to have a plethora of pegboard on hand to be able to use in future makeovers. I filled up the holes in that wall, and while that was drying before I could paint, I moved back over to the cabinets I decided to keep and swap out the silver handles for some generic white ones. Everything that I can link is linked down below for you in the description. I will be adding LED strip lighting to this gym, so I decided to remove that single bulb light fixture that was in there and cover that up with a wall plate. And then I decided to add a fan in the middle of the smaller wall to have this airflow going directly down the garage. Then I finished up painting. I even brought the flooring in from BDX, and I do need to say that if you're doing this like roll gym flooring, it is so deceivingly heavy. Please get help, because even if I had to move this thing an inch, I'd have to move the entire strip of flooring, and that's such a first world problem. But my body was so jacked up after this, and all I needed to do is really just ask for some help from some friends. I was just so stubborn, but thank God I got my friends over at HelloFresh that have been hooking up these room makeovers and sponsoring these videos to make this possible. If you guys are unaware, I have been partnering up with HelloFresh throughout 2019, and I become a bigger fan of their service every time because I use it differently a little bit every single time. You can say goodbye to endless grocery store trips and takeout food because HelloFresh has you covered. And for me, I absolutely love it because the last thing I want to do is try to think of a meal to DIY for myself and my family sometimes when my brain is just so exhausted. Not only do you have everything that you'll need, from step-by-step recipes to pre-measured ingredients to get dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes, but HelloFresh actually has more 5-star recipes than any other meal kit, so you know you'll get something delicious and nutritious. Because actually, this time around, I chose the light option, calorie light option, since we're doing the gym makeover. I wanted to see what those recipes were all about. Don't freak out if you need to change anything, because HelloFresh is extremely flexible and fits your lifestyle. You can easily change your delivery days or food preferences and skip a week whenever you need. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit and is now from $5.66 per serving. You can get started with 9 free meals. That's right, 9 free meals. That's $90 off your first month of HelloFresh, including shipping, by going to HelloFresh.com and entering Metz9 at checkout. So again, if you're looking to get started with HelloFresh, you actually can get started with 9 free meals. Like I said, that is $90 off your first month of HelloFresh, including shipping. Head over to the link in my description, HelloFresh.com, and enter Metz9 at checkout. Okay, remember how I said that I needed to ask for help? Well, I had my good friend Lindsay on her way over, and I decided to add some crown molding because my dad did this in the den he's making over in their house. He did crown molding and then put lighting behind it, and it had this really gorgeous like glow lighting. I decided to do crown molding and add LED strip lighting just because I like that aesthetic for a gym much better. Okay, so oh my gosh, I love Lindsay and I love Elena so much. We went out to sushi, and then, yeah, get you some friends that want to come over and help you with a gym garage makeover on a Saturday night till like, oh my gosh, 2 in the morning. We powered through so many tedious to-dos, and I honestly couldn't have got through this phase without them. I don't even know what I was thinking that I could do all this alone. So Lindsay is a muralist. She does a ton of rad signage, and I wanted her to paint a Jay-Z quote right underneath where the crown molding's going to add something to catch your eye and motivate you. I'm not gonna lie, the LED strip lighting was a pain in the arse. Lindsay had to figure out how to connect them via LED connectors. Again, I've linked them down below for you, but these LED strips have stickiness on the back? They have sticky strips. You just peel it off and it sticks directly to the surface you need it to. There was this awkward gap between where the text needed to be so you can read it and the crown molding. I decided to fill that up with skateboards like I did in my other garage makeover, and then the deflated basketballs you see are the basketballs that Callie has destroyed. I started to do this collection a while ago because I found out there's like a designer destroyed basketball artist, and Callie does that naturally, so I thought it'd be a cool thing to continue to add skateboards and destroyed basketballs that are kind of meaningful. I know this sounds weird because people like gift Callie basketballs. I don't know, I just thought it was a cool, personal, quirky touch. Lindsay took a break from painting and she focused on the LED lighting, and while she did that, I started to move equipment in since we were laying down the gym flooring. It was all settled, and I was getting so excited to be able to place some equipment and start to see the gym come to life finally. It's wonderful, so they say. I really need to start caring about my outfits, but it's just so hard when you're like painting randomly and you don't want to get things on your clothes. I don't know how these DIY YouTubers are always cute because I'm always just looking a mess. Anyways, laying out the gym wasn't that hard for me because I don't necessarily share fitness on this channel, I think, if ever. But I just know how my workouts go, the flow of the gym that we were going to. I kind of just copied and pasted something that was efficient and functional. With the majority of equipment in place, I wanted to start to lift what I could off of the floor that didn't need to be there. So I have these yoga mat wall holders. I link them down below for you. I also decided to get a whiteboard, a large one, so we can write our workouts there like our trainer did, as well as this battle rope holder that is lifting them off of the floor versus them just being in a pile down below. Now it was time to hang the mirrors, and boy, were these hefty. I found all the studs in the walls that I wanted to hang the mirrors in and decided that is where I would be only adding the mirror clips to the wall because that will give you the strongest hold. This is where my thrifting, my selling, and just all the stuff that was in the garage that I told you earlier that I put on Let Go came in handy because the mirrors will eat up your entire budget. One mirror, 48 inches by 72 inches, is $399.95 on Amazon. Before you completely poop yourself like I did, I dug a little bit deeper on Let Go, Craigslist, and nothing was really working for me. The mirrors that were on there were way more damaged than what I wanted to put into our gym. So I found this discount glass company, and I was able to get a 50-inch by 72-inch mirror for $100. I got 2 of those, so that's $200, which yes is pricey. But then I got a 72-inch by 100 inches for $250 from this company. If I were to have checked out and got all the mirrors from Amazon that I needed, I would be spending $2,300 before tax, which is absurd. It's still kind of absurd that I spent $600 on these mirrors, but it is a total steal in comparison to purchasing them off of Amazon. And those people delivered it and placed it where I needed. We just had to install. But this is also an excuse for me to say, hey, Paul, these mirrors are your Christmas present and birthday present, so I hope you like them. Thank you so much to Lindsay for coming out. You guys check out her YouTube channel down below, and I'll link her socials as well. I started to add some final touches to the gym, like this skateboard shelf that I have a previous tutorial on, and it was time to just sit back and soak it all in. All the lights can be controlled once they are connected by one remote. It doesn't even matter how many sensors you have. I actually have 3 different points of power in this gym to these LED lights, and you just have to basically put the remote towards the sensor and it will turn them on. 2 things about this wall and the gap that you see underneath the quote, that is space to add extra skateboards and extra basketballs that Callie decides to ruin and add some more texture. The mirror is not centered because I don't necessarily need to see myself in that corner on that machine, and there's a mirror directly across from it that I can look into for my form. The really cool thing about this is just knowing that I made this over, so I can make it over again if we start to use it and it needs to be a little bit more functional in a different way. I won't be afraid to tackle moving equipment or adding new ones and figuring out this space. You just have to kind of see what works for you. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Seriously, this wouldn't have been possible without you. And also just a shout out to BDX. We have you obviously in our hearts and now in our house. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you got some inspiration or just had a good time watching this makeover. It was a hell of a time for me. I will see you soon for another DIY.